Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, classmates. I'm Firman Namal, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this international webinar session. This webinar is conducted by Kelas Bersama and supported by the Library of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia. Kelas Bersama is a community engaged in the field of education by being a connector between anyone who is moved to share knowledge and the knowledge seekers. Kelas Bersama is one of the communities affiliated to the Library of the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia, and Kelas Bersama exists so that educators and knowledge seekers can meet in face-to-face or virtual classrooms to study together. Kelas Bersama promotes library as the main room for gatherings of educators and knowledge seekers with the hope that library can continue to grow into a place to seek knowledge, not only by reading existing collection, but also by providing space for learning together. This seminar will discuss about the political marketing, theories, and practices. Ladies and gentlemen, the speaker today is Gunaro Setiawan, PhD, or we used to call Mas Igun. He is currently a researcher at Griffith Asia Institute in Brisbane, Australia. He completed Doctor of Philosophy program at the Griffith University Department of Business Strategy and Innovation in June 2020. And during his candidature, he worked as a research assistant at Griffith Asia Institute and was involved in the development and launching of collaborative Australia-Indonesia programs on sustainable development and climate change. This is a joint program Griffith Griffith University, Universitas Indonesia, and Universitas Hasanuddin. He was also responsible as a co-editor in the production of Sustainable Futures Bulletin, which is published by GII. And also, Mas Igun engaged in teaching for undergraduates on the course of management concepts and for Master of Business Administration or MBA. And course such as sustainability, adaptive thinking course where he received an overall score of 4.4 out of 5 from student evaluation on his teaching performance. And during his candidature, Mas Igun has represented GAI in 8 international conferences in Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, and including the Australia-New Zealand Marketing Association Conference, Australia National University Postgraduate Study Research Workshop, Asian Studies Association of Australia Conference, and the high-level meeting series of CAEPSDCC. And also, Gunaro has also contributed on establishing special interest group for political marketing at ANZMAC 2019 conference in New Zealand. So his research encompasses wide area of studies, including political marketing, religiosity, environment, behavioral well-being, and studies on psychological behavior on COVID-19. He has reviewed articles from Journal of Product and Brand Management and International Journal of Bank Marketing. His work are currently under review at the Journal of Consumer Marketing and Journal of Political Marketing. And before the presentation begin, let's note the regulation how the presentation will be going on. So firstly, I would like to give like a 30 minutes to Mas Igun to present the material. And also after that, we will continue with question and asking session. Hello, Mas Igun.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good. It's a long CV.
Sorry, I think it's a bit too long. We can manage.
No. Okay, maybe we can start it. The floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. Sorry, just a moment. Oke, thank you kelas bersama, Mas Firman, Mas Roland, for the opportunity to present my research and a bit of discussion about political marketing and branding. I think so. In the last minute, I add the branding theories and applications in Indonesia because it's very timely at the moment, because it's what's happening in Indonesia and election is coming. So I think political marketing and branding will get more significant in Indonesia, not just in Indonesia and in the world. So today topic we will discuss first about political marketing theories and branding, and also the branding theories and sorry, just my friend there, and um, an application in Indonesia. Back when I was in the high school, I used to think theories are boring. But then again, when if any one of you are planning to become an academics or PhD, the goal is to make a theoretical contributions, whether to test, whether to extend, or whether to create a new theory. So that's the goal of PhD. If you can't make an theoretical contributions, then that's not a PhD. That's not a research. So as you can see here, political marketing and branding, we can see Prabowo from Gerindra trying to make a project, to make an image of an elite. And then at the right here, you can see how Jokowi and Ibu Iriana trying to make an image of merakyat. And then below is just the Islamist Habib Rizik before with his base voters, and also some of the products of the marketing and branding and is the program. Like we can see here, Rumah DP 0 rupiah from Anies Baswedan and OKOC from him and Sandiaga Uno. And you can see there Sandiaga Uno just trying to project himself as a casual leader. So he's trying to make this casual style, but we'll discuss about it later. And at the left bottom is Risma. As we can see, she went straight to the field and then turun tangan mengatur lalu lintas. That it affects her political brand, and we will discuss later. So one will ask, what is the importance of political marketing and branding these days? You can see 4 of the largest democracies, they are now being ruled by newcomers and outsiders. And here there's also the factor of political branding here. And they are known as outsiders and newcomers, yet they managed to win the prestigious elections in their countries. And as you can see, Modi from India, and then Donald Trump in America, one wouldn't expect the winning of Donald Trump, but yet he win, and then probably it'll be tough for him in the second term, but we'll see how it goes. And then the rapid rise of Jokowi from Indonesia, from a city from mayor of small city in Indonesia, and then he went to Jakarta as a governor, and then now as the president for second term as well. And then the Bolsonaro from Brazil also won the election, and people didn't expect him to win with his idea of far right ideology. And the significance of political marketing also follow because of the decline of identity possessed by political parties and candidates. So if one can exploit this situation is by developing their political brand. Okay, next, so we're just gonna quickly look at the past of the origin of political marketing theories. So it's all started from the political marketing big shots, the researcher there, that marketing is applicable to persons, organizations, and idea. So marketing is not just about marketing your products, your services, but you can also market your organization, you can market your ideologies, you can market yourself, even personal branding there. So 10 years, in 1975, there are researchers, they come up with the idea that the process of election is similar with business transaction. So you have a seller, which is the party, and then candidate, and then the buyer. which is the voters there. So the coin of exchange here are the votes and the promises. It's very important that we know that what they sell is promises because it's not being realized yet. So that's the coin of transaction there. And this is how we can see candidate brand, human brand, and then party brand, and also the voters there. Now, moving on to the between IT and then to around 2000s, a lot of articles mention about positioning strategy, branding strategy, voters candidate party relationship, and then O'Shaughnessy is very well known on this area. So basically, the goal of political consultant or political marketing is to persuade without proof and rely only on the credibility of an individual. So that's the main idea of marketing there. And a lot of articles there revolves on political strategies, and then whether as a candidates we should sell on the product orientation, like what Jennifer Lee Marshman said, sales orientation or market orientation. And then most of the article on the 80s to early 2000, they reflect on the rise of the political consultants and the importance of branding and positioning. Now, still in America, this is the data there on from 1970 to 2010. So sorry, 2010. So the use of the words of brand and branding in political context in major U.S. newspapers were on spike on those period there. So we can see the political branding is getting more significant there based on this data. And I'm not gonna discuss too much on the theories because I think there's a lot of discussion on the practice, on the applications in Indonesian context here. But beyond 2000s, the literature are more diffuse, and then they use digital marketing, social media platforms, and use of big data. For example, Cambridge Analytica incident. Yeah. So instead of they managed to identify how to deliver political ads based on the likes on Facebook. So they know your favorite, your hobbies. They know your what you like, and then they can see from your likes and on the Facebook. And they use this to then they exploit this to deliver the political marketing ads. So a couple of literatures again from political marketing and branding. So political marketing is the application of marketing procedures and principles in political contexts. And a lot of studies have proven that marketing theories are applicable in political studies and practices. And from marketing perspective, one of the most valuable assets of an organization or an individual is their brand. And then it's almost impossible to win without political marketing to win an election. And then political branding is one of the key components to win election. A lot of studies there. And then basically, political branding is a conceptual tool that can capture both the tangible and intangible components that work together to construct the reputation and image of political candidates. And then again, the political brand here is used as offering products or services. So political party brand and then candidate brand is known as a product as well. And then it's sold on trust based on the future promises. So again, the importance of political brand and brand image, or in Indonesia is known as pencitraan, brand image, creation of brand image. It's used as a shortcut for voter decision making. Now, going back to Indonesia, it's probably true because back when I was in the high school, when I was still doing my bachelor degree, and you ask why do you chose SBY? Oh, because he is kebapaan. He looks like a dad, like a father. And same thing goes with Jokowi, which we will discuss later. So people nowadays, some of them don't care about the ideologies, programs. Some of them don't have the capacity to understand that, and instead they look at the shortcut there. Okay, this guy looks like a good guy, so I'm gonna vote for him or her. So that's the importance of political brand image or political branding. Now, in candidate or a human brand, as we know, branding, there's a lot of branding of products, service, but this one is branding for human brand. And the key for winning trust to the consumer or voters is the authenticity. A lot of studies refer to this, and we're going to discuss that later. So there are many other branding components like brand equity, brand experience, brand positioning, personality, image, identity, reference, a lot of, and they keep on growing now. The literature keeps on going that there's a lot of discovery on branding components. But what we're going to discuss now is the applications in Indonesia. So we start with the rise of political consultants in Indonesia. Denija Lingkaran survey Indonesia in 2004, signed contract with Golkar, and then he offered consultancy for the political candidates. For Fox Indonesia, formed by Choel and Rizal Marangeng, and they play a big role for the winning of SBY against Megawati. And then Compact Indonesia, they lost the battle. They brought in Andy Marangeng, but they lost against a candidate consulted by Compact Indonesia. They also Carta Politica, Indobarometer, and many others. So the phenomenon in America is also happening in Indonesia and other countries as well. The rise of political consultants. Now, a bit of demography about Indonesia election battle. So voters, 193 million and 80 million are millennials. So it's important that candidate knows that the largest segment in Indonesia are the millennials. And then over 810,000 polling stations. So you can imagine if the government insists of conducting pilkada, the people are going to be clustered there. So it endangers people there. But I'm not going to discuss further about that. And I think legislative pileg, we have 20,000 seats, a battle of 20,000 seats, and more than 245,000 political candidates there battling against this. So you can see the significance of political marketing here. Each candidate, they throw money for political advertising, for marketing advertising, to promote themselves. And then there also the new law that 30% of the parliamentary candidates are women. Now, in Pilkada 2020, there are currently about 1,200 women and 141 women candidates, so very one-sided. But then again, it's a good prospect. It's a good job in Indonesia if you can manage to get through it. As you can see from the quote here, one of the minister, well, you can find it out by yourself. The salary is 267 million rupiah. There's a high value there. And then he said, did not playing with the projects, but the salary is that much, and then that positions to 20,000 chairs, and these are the salaries there. So it's a good job, good prospect in Indonesia. A lot of people are trying to get into the DPR, and then need to mention that from the Laude and Sharif presentation on the NU 2 weeks ago, he mentioned that a lot of DPR, the representative now, are business people there. So that's one thing to know about. And then we're gonna move to the political branding of the Pilpres, because I think this is the culmination point of how political branding is getting more significant in Indonesia. So it's the success of a newcomer from the political brand perspective. As you can see here, the win of a newcomer due to political brand factor. You can see the contrast here. Jokowi against Prabowo. Jokowi, a fan of Metallica, from a woodcutter family, from a grassroots family, used to live in the poverty, in a riverbank, against the elite of Prabowo. And you can see very interesting how Jokowi present himself in his political advertising there, in his political marketing. He tried to picture himself as a modest, and then honest, and then merakyat. So kemeja there only $10. Tidak pakai perhiasan means no accessories, no jewelries, and celana only $10, sepatu only $16. So trying to make an image that here I am a man of the people. I'm one of you, and then I represent your voice. Instead, Prabowo, one of the elites, one of the oligarchs, patriot, nationalist, uh, a person with nationalistic ideas. So very contrast there, but instead Jokowi won there. So we all know the history of Indonesian presidents there. Most of them came from the elites, and Jokowi stand out there, and just because of his success on the political branding. And then we can see the most successful political brands are these three, based on my studies, based on my perspective. Now, I need to claim that I'm not the supporter of any one of them, but this is just for research purpose. Then, so we can see how their brand are very successful. Risma on the top right there on his office, in his office, there are more than 100 cameras, and he's looking at the people of Surabaya there. So it shows how much he cares, about the people there. This is the project that she wants to to send, to convey the message to the people there, and how she went to the site there during the flood, helping people, helping directly. And then this is on the top right bottom there. She hugs people that were affected by the accident of Air Asia on Surabaya. So really show how much she cares about the people and her nationalistic leadership. And then here Ahok as well, trying they having daily meetings with the citizens, and just just very unique there. The couple of his staff that I interviewed said that there was no leader has implemented this before. And we can see here Jokowi just mingling together with the citizens from the grassroots, casually eating in the warteg street vendor, and riding on motorcycles and going to the sawah. Very different with the typical political mainstream. So we can say that they are cladded with luxury. They are more into dilayani instead of melayani. And this is what we're trying to look at on my research. So there are attempts to imitate these successful brands by the political mainstream, such as SBY. When he knew that belusukan were effective, he claimed that it's belusukan. He has been doing it for a long time, long before Jokowi. And then there's also Yusril wearing Mickey Mouse shirt, went to the market and said that I like to wear Mickey Mouse shirt because my son, my child likes to wear it as well, and that's why I'm going to the market. So they attempt to imitate this, and Sandiaga Uno riding angkot, Metro Mini, and we can see that they're being criticized because of this. A lot of articles that criticize them, mentioning that they're not being themselves, they're not being authentic. You can see how the theory here are realized. So they are not being authentic, and they're being criticized. It wasn't successful in their case. And then coming up to my research again, we try to prove, we try to make to understand how do people perceive their success, as in Jokowi and Ahok and Risma case, in serving the people and on developing political brand as a reformist and as someone that are able to make change. So I'm using mixed methods here. So I document analysis and interviews to get the teams, and then after that we conducted the reliability tests with survey in Jakarta and Surabaya. So document analysis, the results are 112 articles from mainstream media, say Kompas and such from 2012 until 2017, using the keywords like Jokowi, Melayani, and Pemimpin Pelayan. And then we use thematic analysis with Leximensa software, where I'm going to demonstrate not demonstrate, I'm just going to show you the result of Leximensa software there, and then conduct the interviews with thematic analysis as well to 22 participants, which consists of politicians, journalists, government staff, and general voters. And finally, using quantitative approach to determine the scale there, whether the scale are reliable or not. So these are Leximensa results. For those who don't know about Leximensa, you can see here at the middle. At the middle here is it's color in red, meaning it's very significant. So from the 40 articles about Jokowi, most discuss about melayani. So he is really, so the media picture him as a leader who really serve the people there. And we can see here gaya komunikasi and belusukan here. So it's significant there. Belusukan is significant to his political brand here. And then you can see Solo and then DKI, and then you can see Lion here. Lion here, when I explore the context, the meaning of Lion, it means that he's being perceived as different with the people, from the people perspective. But you can see here, his uniqueness is on the political communications there, political style here. Belusukan and langsung here, direct with this belusukan. So these are the concept maps from interview. So you can see here, most of this is about modest image, signature direct approaches, and these are the main theme here. Perceived success, right? And then he was known as a reformer, infrastructure development from the Nawacita, proven past tenures, and then again his image, his communication styles are significant to this. Then from Ahok perspective, you can see here bureaucracy in the red as well. Memimpin rakyat secara langsung. Bit similar, but he's more into the bureaucracy here. Pelayanan, so suggesting that his political brand is known with his the success of his political brand was known because of his success in improving the bureaucracy. And concept map about Ahok here. So perceived success in serving the citizens, and then improve bureaucracy. Bureaucracy reformer again, but this is more known of his strict and transparent government budgeting system, and innovation in government service, and daily meetings are being taught as well by the participants. Low adherence, anti-corruption figure, and then finally Risma. Only about 30 articles about Risma, and it's more about how she was successful in transforming Surabaya. It's like with building the parks, and then serving the citizen directly. So it highlights the engagement to the citizens. Well, the uniqueness of Risma is more about her figure of caring mother. So here we can see the maternalistic leadership there. She played a role as a mom to the people, and the Surabayans loved it. So she was seen as emotional. You can see how she was angry with the Taman Bungkul incident, and then she was strict with her staff, but he managed to make a huge transformation on Surabaya, according to the interview. Reforms, and she was seen as authoritarian here by the staff, but she managed to be successful. So there's a bit of contradictory there, hard to the staff but being soft to the people. But then again, presences during crisis as well, as you can see, she was there when it was flooding, when the Air Asia accident, and direct engagement, of course. So the convergent points there from the similarity, you can see that their success of serving the citizen can be seen from the improved government service, so from the reforms on the bureaucracy, and then unique engagement approaches to the citizens. They all have it. They all have a higher rate of engagement to the citizens, and they all know being successful in solving problems. And then evidence in combating corruptions, and in through policies and general attitudes, just like avoiding luxuries, being modest, not concerned too much on the luxuries, and then evidence on making physical improvement or development like infrastructure on the cities. Then it leads to perceived competence. So my research here. So these are the products of the brand here: perceived qualities, proposed programs, and engagement style to the people. And it's now being reviewed by the Political Marketing Journal. And yes, I've sent the revision, but it takes a while. It's been since March. So these are my supervisors: Peter Woods, Denny Ali, and the associate professor Peter Woods, and Dr. Danny Ali, and Professor Colin Brown. So we managed to make a scale out of these quantitative scales, dimensions of qualities programming style. So it's all 10 items, and we have proven the reliability. So it's not just concepts, a theory, but we have proven the applicability of these constructs here. So we tested with SBA as well. We want to see the comparison. So we consider him as one of the oligarchs according to the theories and literature. But just one thing to discuss. So 450 samples, and factor analysis are good. So I'm not going to be too detailed about that. Just a bit of RISMA is a bit of contradiction there, but yeah, it's still applicable there. And what's interesting is we try to compare these three leaders with SBA, right? And the means on SBA is low there. It's only 3, 3, and 2, and 2. But these people are 4 there. So you can see how people very highly value these three leaders. In SBA, only 3 and nothing on 4 there. All right. So implications there. So we will see more about political marketing in the upcoming elections, more sophisticated techniques and engagement styles. And then we can see that the three products, perceived qualities, proposed programs, and engagement approach to voter are attractive products to shape strong political brand. And you can see how anti-corruption image reflected from the programs and attitudes of the leader are desirable to Indonesian voters. So looking at the contemporary political marketing method, I think this method is very genius. He tried to extend his father engagement style, belusukan, and he used this method to engage with the people there. So due to the COVID-19, he can engage directly to the people. So he used this as a means of trying to for belusukan there. So I think this is ingenious. I think this is something that may be very useful for political candidates. More of it, we can see more of it. We can expect to see more of this in the future for political marketing methods. And basically, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mas Igun, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to question and answer session. So if you have any question, you can just type down on the Facebook and also YouTube, and we can be able to read it, and we will ask to Mr. Igun to answer it. Okay. While we are waiting, actually, I have a question for you, Mas Igun.
Yep.
Because this is a really interesting topic. So today, social media play a significant role in political campaign, right? Especially during the presidential election. All candidates utilize social media for like disseminating their program and also for medium for personal marketing, since social media able to reach a vast population, and it's really suitable for Indonesia. And however, due to the low level of digital literacy of Indonesian, social media also become a tool for spreading black campaigns and hoaxes or false information. So what do you think about this phenomenon? Do you agree that social media become a suitable communication tool for political marketing, or maybe you can give us another perspective?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Mas Berman. I think social media does play a big role on the successful political marketing campaign. As we can see from Donald Trump, he has his own Twitter, and Narendra Modi as well, Jokowi as well, and I don't know about Bolsonaro, but he should have one of it. And we can see Donald Trump with his Twitter is very successful, and is being seen as authentic because it's from himself. He said real Donald Trump. That's what he's account for, and whatever comes from it came from him directly. So we can see how it also contributed on the authenticity of his brand there. And we can see from the literature human brand, the important part for human brand to gain trust from the people is from the authenticity. So it plays a big role from Jokowi as well. In fact, I think Jokowi was the one who made this popular in Indonesia after his success with using the Twitter and Facebook. More a lot of political candidates are following him by making the same account.
Okay. Thank you so much for your explanation, Mas Igun. So actually, we have one question here from Boboy Andika.
Yep.
Okay, so Boboy asked this question: for the future, what's your recommendation so that people in Indonesia will not be so stupid to be victimized by political marketing?
Well, thank you for your question, Boboy. As we have known that we discussed that the transaction here is in the form of votes, and from the candidates or party they present promises, right? And then I think the best method not being uh, fooled by political marketing, as Boboy said, is by being critical with their programs and with their promises, and how they are able to realize it, how they what methods they are going to conduct to realize these programs. And yeah, things to be to interrogate how they are going to implement these programs. Because a lot of like DP 0%, I think it's going well now, but there's a lot of pretty criticisms from the people that, and a lot of some say that it's misleading because, and people have to put savings for 6 months and then they can launch before that, and then it's not being fixed now. So a lot of miscommunications there. But again, it's very effective to project the image that the candidates do care about the people. That's why they make this OKOC. That's how they made these DP 0% programs. So it's a so in the sense, it's very to project the image of we do care about people, especially from the grassroots.
Okay, okay, that's right. And while we're waiting, also maybe you can explain to us about what is the current situation in Australia. I mean, comparing between Indonesia and Australia, is there any differences or is there any similarities that Indonesia and Australia has?
Well, it's very different now. In Australia, people here don't really talk about politics in their daily life, unlike Indonesians. We do love to talk about politics. And probably it's because of the difference in populations and difference in the demographics. But by the way, here all of the meetings from the DPR are being publicized, are being published by the TVs, and people know what's happening now in Australia, and what are they going to do with the policy and the promises they make. And yeah, they get, it's very transparent here in Australia. And Indonesia, I think we can use that as well, that method.
Okay, yeah, because Indonesia. I mean, in terms of population, Indonesia has a large population, right, compared with Australia.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably Indonesia is more similar with America and probably a bit of India, and uh, we can see that in America, if people wear masks, then it means you are Democrats. But if you don't wear masks, then it means that you are Republican. You support Trump. Well, unfortunately, he is now being contracted by coronavirus, and so hopes he recover now. But that's the 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 critical point of political identity there. It reflects your voting preference, and that's gonna divide the people. It's gonna polarize the people as well, as we can see here now in America and Indonesia. before, cebong versus kampret, but now it's settled down, right? Because political bargaining.
Yeah, that's correct. So we have another question. The first one is from Muhammad Roland. So, Mr. Setiawan or Mas Igun, do you think money politics will still be used by candidates in
All right,
Indonesia?
this is gonna be a long story. Recently, researcher from ANU, Professor Edward Aspinall, he released a book, Democracy for Sale, and also it 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 just describes how money politics are rampant in Indonesia, and Burhanuddin Muhtadi as well. He also released a book as well about one of three people in Indonesia have experienced money politics. So if you say is do you think money politics will still be used by candidates? I think it's still going to be used there, and it's a form of bargaining to the people. Okay, if I'm being chosen, and a lot of people in I'm not going to say which city because um, some of the city I went to interview the politicians, and they said that yeah, if I win the election, I'm gonna give you this much, or I'm gonna give you a projects here. I'm gonna give you some company to manage the government company, right? But it's common things there. That's a form of clientelism. We said patronage, and it's what's happening not just in Indonesia, so but in America it's common there. So the bargain here is not just a promise about uh, policies or or similar, but it's more like here I'll give you this, I'll give you this. So it's very transactional there.
Okay. And we have another question from Eva Wulandari.
Yep.
So her question is personal branding is necessary in conjunction with the idea which need to be marketed?
Well, all of the candidates there, they done really well. The candidates I mentioned, Jokowi, Ahok, and Risma, they done really well with personal branding, with promoting their human brand there, and it's necessary that it's being linked with the ideas, with their ideologies. So their ideologies is more about technocracy, right? They want to improve the services of the government. They want to make the government play bigger roles in raising the well-being of the citizens, and yeah, it's really, and it was being sold in the form of the programs of the engagement style with the citizens, and it's make them perceive as a competent leader there. So yeah, I think it's really needs to be linked with their ideas, but with that's part of the products that they're going to offer to the people.
Okay. And while we are waiting, maybe I have another question for you, Mr. Egan. So in
Yep.
Indonesia, media oligarch or media owner influence the politics since they also play a vital role in politics in Indonesia because some of them maybe become the leader of a party or also maybe a member of a political party. So what do you think about this phenomenon? I mean, uh, do also the mainstream media influence the political marketing in Indonesia?
Well, definitely. Thanks for your question. Definitely, we can all see the role of medias in promoting Jokowi, Ahok, and Risma, right? We can see
Mm,
how they become the media darling. Whatever they do, it's good. It's right. It's correct. So we can see the role of media there, especially with the political elites there connection. You can see how certain media always praise Jokowi, always praise or certain candidates. You can see how they we know from the theory of communications for mass communications theories that the media plays a big role in delivering agenda setting for the people.
mm.
What 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 can we make people think about? So we make them think about the achievements of these candidates. So they play a really big role here, not just in this country but all democratic countries.
Okay. Yep. We have another question from
Mm.
Assessor Banten. So, Mas Igun, what do you think about the son and son-in-law of the president following the election? What happened there actually?
Okay. I know people gonna ask this kind of political
Mm,
question. We all know Gibran joined PDI last year, and a lot of controversy there. Only 1 year, and being appointed straight away, reprising Purnomo. Purnomo was invited to the palace, and then it's even in the media. Yeah, and then he was being offered a position. If you can, you have to resign from the pencalonan. And then he
yeah.
did, and Gibran went to the top, and then he's now the so PDIP already appointed Purnomo now, and then it changed. And what happened there? I think you can figure it out.
So, in the academic perspective, I mean, is it a good thing to have like this kind of strategy, or is it a
Okay,
bad?
in uh, we can see that this is a form of democracy that anyone can can uh, can join the elections. But from the context perspective, right? From the history of Indonesia, we know that political oligarchy they always attempt to make dynasty, right? It's what happened with SBY as well. He appointed his son. He made him quit the TNI and straight away to the governor election in DKI Jakarta. So and there's also Jokowi relative. I think he asked for his permission but wasn't granted because Jokowi was Jokowi was worried that it may even reflect him as it may amplify his attempt to create a dynasty there. So he was not given permission by Jokowi there. So yeah, I think in term of context of Indonesian history, it's raised questions. Well, we thought Gibran wasn't interested to join politics, and many of the Mata Najwa, he attend Mata Najwa and he said, "I'm not interested." And then before
Mm,
in the Solo, Jokowi said his family not gonna join politics, not gonna join his, and then it's all changed now. So that's politics.
mm, okay. Yeah. Okay. So while we're waiting for another question. Oh, sorry. So Assessor Banten have another question. So can you give analysis a bit of prediction for the next general election in 2024, Mas Igun?
Well, Nasdem already appointed Anis. We know there's a bit of disruption on their coalition, right?
Mm,
Megawati is already romantis ya katanya sama with Prabowo. So
mm,
and Prabowo, so it's more likely. But I think for the votes to Gerindra are gonna get low. That's my theory, right? Because a lot of them are disappointed that Prabowo joined with Jokowi now. But then again, it's all about, like I said, the clientelism, the patronage, what Prabowo can give to the people, right? And then so it all depends on the people now, whether to see him still as a figure or not. But again, back to the topic, Anies is a strong candidate as well. But again, Anies has a bit of problem with his political brand. When he was fighting Ahok before, there's an incident that in one of the district in Jakarta said that whoever support Ahok, then if they died in Islam, that people died, we gonna do prayer for him. Then this guy we're not gonna conduct prayer for them. But that's and then it was very dangerous, right? The kind of mindset. And then Anis took a while to respond to that. He took about 1 week. So this made him seen as someone who exploited this circumstance, right? He was being seen as someone who's not being a sincere leader to support the people, and he's not. He didn't play his role to unite the people there. So he's in. So that's one of the mistake there, and it's still happening now. Whatever Anies does, the media, some of the media, gonna still telling him, "Oh, Anies said this, but it's wrong. Anies said this." So it's all about presenting his mistakes there.
Okay.
Again, I see Anies, and then I see PDI probably. Hopefully, Prabowo didn't get betrayed again with the PDIP, or I don't know what's gonna happen. But those two are, and I suspect that more of the new candidates gonna emerge there.
Okay. So we have another question. So Mas Igun, from Sarah Sehan Orang Tua 2019. So Mr. Setiawan, do you think major Islamic organization will still take a big role in the general election?
It still and it will always be. You can see religion is part of politics there, not just in the Indonesia, but also in America, also in India as well. India, and it's all polarized. You know, some of these countries were polarized because of the effect of religion. We can see in America the support of Democrats are mostly the Christian, while the support of Trump's are mostly the Catholics. And Modi from India, Hindu, and then even they have really life casualties because of the policies that Modi made. So the citizenship amendment, well, not gonna discuss about that, but it's really blatantly he sided with the Hindu, not with the Muslim there. Not gonna discuss further about that. But then in Indonesia as well, well, you can see MUI, Maruf Amin, NU. So it's part of the politics there, and it's still gonna will influence the voting behavior and the elections there. And in fact, one of the researcher from Melbourne, Mugis, is Professor Fedi Hadis, said that since Habib Rizik when escaped to Middle East, the Islamic organizations, his followers, were getting fragmented there. But anyway, answering your question, major Islamic organization, it will take a big role, and it will always be.
Okay. Okay. So we still have time. So maybe I ask you another question if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, maybe this is the last question. So during the COVID-19, Indonesia still organized the local election or pilkada. So related to the topic, what are the suitable political marketing strategies? Because the candidate cannot have like a rally or direct campaign or traditional campaign as in a normal situation.
Well, New Zealand, they have one of the lowest contraction rate with COVID, right? And they even delayed their elections. So Indonesia, as you can see from the data, still insists of doing elections. But I think the best political marketing methods are what being done by Gibran. First, we can see that political candidates, they tend to avoid using technologies, right? Ahok used Cluey, was effective, but then during Anies period, it was being deleted. I don't know how. So if candidate want to approach millennials, they have to be technology savvy.
Yeah.
They just being seen as an old candidates, and millennials they want definitive answers to programs, right? All right, you wanna present us, you wanna have a free school for us, how you do that? Okay, all right.
Okay, and talking about a millennial, we have a question related to millennials from Dewa Riyardi. So Dewa asks about, as I know that millennials not really interested in politics. So what is your message for them as your presentation show that Indonesian millennials play an important role in election to nowadays?
Well, my personal message: if you want to make change, then you need to join the politics there. But um, you have to be critical. You have to interrogate their ideas, their programs, and how do you achieve that, and use rationals to analyze the candidates.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, also classmates, we finally come to the end part of this webinar. And before I close the seminar, I would like to promote our next big event. So we call it a mini conference by Indonesian student in Queensland. So the speaker consists of a student from Queensland University of Technology, QUT, University of Queensland or UQ, and the Griffith University. All of this university based on Brisbane. And we have another speaker from UNJ, Universitas Negeri Jakarta. And okay, and hopefully the webinar will be beneficial for everybody. And before we end it, maybe please give applause for the speaker, Mas Igun. Okay, maybe
Thank
like
you.
a put the thumbs up or maybe like a clap icon on your Facebook or your YouTube. Okay, and oh yeah, and remember about our next big event will be held on 17 and 18 of October 2020. So save the date and see you again in the future events. Oke, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye, Mas Igun.
Bye. Thank you very much, Firman. Assalamualaikum.